Hello and welcome to the Minimum Competence episode for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. I'm your host for today, Andrew Leahy, a tax and technology attorney from New Jersey. On today's episode, we have Yelp's lawsuit against Google after the DOJ's antitrust win, Shaquille O'Neal's NFT case and its impact on celebrity promotions, Elon Musk's legal battle in Brazil over Starlink, and my column on Google's link tax dodge. Let's remember, September days are here with summer's best of weather and autumn's best of cheer, and read today's legal news. On this day in legal history, September 3rd, 1939, the world witnessed a pivotal moment in legal and military history as the United Kingdom, France, New Zealand, and Australia officially declared war on Germany, marking the beginning of World War II for the Allies.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This country is at war with Germany.
This decisive action was a direct response to Germany's invasion of Poland just 2 days earlier on September 1st. The declarations were rooted in a series of mutual defense agreements and the moral imperative to counteract Nazi aggression, which threatened the stability of Europe and global peace. The legal frameworks for these declarations were based on international treaties and commitments, most notably the Treaty of Versailles and the League of Nations Covenant, both of which sought to prevent such unilateral aggression. The declarations marked the start of a global conflict that would reshape international law, particularly in the areas of war crimes, human rights, and rules of war. As the conflict expanded, it underscored the limitations of interwar diplomacy and collective security measures, leading to a significant legal and institutional change after the war, including the establishment of the United Nations and the Geneva Conventions. September 3rd, 1939, thus stands as a day when legal commitments transformed into military action, shaping the course of the 20th century. After the Justice Department's recent antitrust victory against Google, the tech giant is facing increased legal challenges, with Yelp filing a lawsuit against Google alleging their monopoly power in the local search advertising market. Yelp's complaint, filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California, follows a ruling by Judge Amit P. Mehta that confirmed Google's monopoly in general search services and search ads. This ruling is likely to encourage more private antitrust lawsuits from competitors and consumers, potentially leading to a wave of litigation against Google. While some companies may wait for the appeals process to conclude, others like Yelp are acting now, hoping to capitalize on Mehta's findings. Yelp's suit focuses on Google's alleged self-preferencing in local search results, claiming that Google's practices harm competitors by directing users to its own products and away from sites like Yelp. However, legal experts note that Yelp will need to prove that consumers were harmed by these practices, which could be challenging. The DOJ case centered on general search markets, while Yelp's claims are specific to local search advertising, a different market that may require different legal arguments. Despite these differences, the ruling against Google in the DOJ case could provide some advantage to future plaintiffs, though each case will need to address its own unique circumstances. A recent court ruling against Shaquille O'Neal highlights the increasing legal risks for celebrities who promote cryptocurrency and digital assets. The case involves O'Neal's promotion of Astrals and Galaxy NFTs, which have been classified as securities by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. The court found that O'Neal, by soliciting purchases of these tokens, could be considered a seller under securities law, making him liable for the token's loss in value following the collapse of the crypto platform FTX. This ruling underscores the broader legal challenges facing other celebrities, such as Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, who have endorsed similar projects. The decision is significant as it expands the definition of solicitation to include public communications via social media and online platforms, not just traditional advertising. With the law around digital assets still developing, this case serves as a cautionary tale for celebrities. Legal experts suggest that celebrities should seek legal advice before promoting such assets, as they could face significant liability under securities law. The case also sheds light on the ongoing uncertainty in how courts will treat digital assets and their promoters, potentially leading to more civil litigation in the future. Tensions between Elon Musk's companies and Brazil have escalated as the country's telecom regulator, Anatel, threatened to sanction Musk's satellite broadband company, Starlink. This comes after Brazil's Supreme Court upheld a decision to ban the social network X, formerly Twitter, for failing to comply with local regulations, including naming a legal representative. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva supported the court's action, criticizing Musk's influence. Judge Alexandra de Moraes, who led the suspension of X, also ordered the freezing of Starlink's accounts, suspecting them of being used to pay fines owed by X. In response, Musk hinted at retaliating by seizing Brazilian assets, but did not specify how. Starlink, defying Moraes' order, refused to block access to X in Brazil, prompting Anatel to consider revoking its operating license. The conflict highlights a broader feud between Musk and Moraes over compliance with Brazilian laws, with critics accusing the judge of overreach and supporters praising his defense of democracy. The suspension of X, which remains inaccessible to most Brazilians, has sparked debates over freedom of expression and the role of tech companies in upholding legal obligations. Google has struck a deal to avoid a proposed link tax in California by agreeing to fund local journalism and an AI initiative totaling nearly $250 million over 5 years. This includes $55 million from Google for a news transformation fund to be administered by UC Berkeley and $62.5 million for a national AI innovation accelerator. In my column for Bloomberg this week, I critique the agreement between Google and California, where Google has committed over $172.5 million to support journalism and AI initiatives. While this might seem like a win for journalism, I see it as a temporary fix that sidesteps more substantial regulatory measures, such as a proposed link tax or a broader data tax. In my view, these ad hoc arrangements fall short of providing the long-term support that journalism truly needs. I believe a more effective solution would be to implement a comprehensive data tax on companies like Google, targeting the revenue they generate from user data used in advertising and the data they ingest for training AI models. This would ensure ongoing funding for journalism and better reflect the enormous influence of these tech giants have in our digital economy. The deal struck between Google and California may offer some short-term benefits, but I'm concerned that it might ultimately lean too heavily on taxpayer subsidies, given that much of Google's contribution could be tax-deductible. In my opinion, a data tax would be a more equitable and sustainable approach, ensuring that tech companies contribute fairly to public goods like journalism. I see the proposed data tax as a critical step towards creating a more balanced relationship between states and large tech companies, providing a more permanent solution that better supports journalism and other digital platforms. And with that, I thank you so much for listening to Minimum Competence, your daily news podcast for lawyers. If you're looking for more than Minimum Competence, links to further reading on all the topics touched on today are in the show notes. And reviews go a long way towards helping new listeners to find our show. If you have a moment, you can leave a rating or review on your podcast player. We'd appreciate it. And if you know someone that might be interested in a story we cover, consider sending them the episode. But remember, nothing here should be construed as legal advice because it is certainly not that. Minimum Competence is available at minimumcomp.com and wherever you get your finely crafted podcasts. If you haven't checked out the website in a while, give it a look. There are complete transcripts and resources for each episode and its corresponding segments, as well as an opportunity to receive new episodes in email, newsletter, form. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and until then, remember. But now in September, the garden has cooled, and with it my possessiveness. The sun warms my back instead of beating on my head.